Hi, I'm Calum Franklin. I'm the chef of Holborn Dining Room and the Pie Room at the Rosewood in London. And today I'm going to show you how to make Scotch eggs, but not just any Scotch egg. These are haggis Scotch eggs. So this dish reminds me of travelling to Scotland when I was a child. So we have family up there. Haggis, one of like the most, sort of iconic Scottish ingredients, was something that we used to eat a lot when we were there. And Scotch egg, one of my favourite dishes of all time, right? We have one in the restaurant. We have an award-winning Scotch egg in the restaurant. I've got some organic free-range eggs here. These are like, if you know some organic free-range eggs that have a deep yolk colour, try and get those, because it's lovely when you cut them and you get that sort of very, orangey yolk oozing out at the end, which is what we're going to hope for here today. But any good organic free-range egg, grab those. Secondly, this is a cool recipe because there's not many ingredients, right? Sausage meat and haggis. All right, so sausage meat, all you need to do is buy some sausages, take them out of the casings. I've worked out what we need here. For this recipe, we're going to need 400 grams. We're going to make 5 eggs, so they're 80 grams each, so 400 grams of farce, and it's 50-50. So you're going to need 200 grams of haggis, 200 grams of sausage meat. All we're going to do with that is we're going to crumble up that haggis and mix it through nicely. And then to go through that, because it's already well spiced haggis, we're not going to add a lot of spices to it. Just some beautiful fragrant rosemary. It's lovely. This sort of lifts the dish to another level. Adds a sort of freshness in at the end as well, which is why I always, when I cook, I put rosemary in right at the end. For the coating, some breadcrumbs. So I've got about 100 grams of breadcrumbs here. You can use any type you really want, anything that's left over in the house. These ones are just, sort of a plain white breadcrumb. You can use panko, you can use sourdough, you can use gingerbread if you're nuts. And then other thing we need is a little bit of milk for the pane. Now I showed you earlier 6 eggs. We're going to cook 5. One of the eggs is going to be for mixing through this to coat the eggs at the end before frying. And frying means that we need some oil. So I've got here in this pot 1 litre of oil. Now I've used vegetable oil. You can use canola, you could use rapeseed oil. You just want something mild that doesn't have a lot of flavour. And that's it really, we should crack on. First thing we're going to do is cook the eggs. Okay, so we've got our eggs, we've got boiling water, and we've got ice water. That's what we need now. Also a timer, right? So get your phone ready. I'm going to use my little kitchen assistant here. And don't forget, we're going to cook 5 eggs. One of these eggs is going to be for our pane. Okay, so all you need to do is just lower these eggs into the water. Just enough water to cover. Carefully put them in. And then we're going to set a timer. Hey Google, set 5-minute timer.
5 minutes, starting now.
Gently, gently, didn't break the eggs. And they're going to go straight into ice water when that 5 minutes is up. And there we go, 5 minutes is up. So we're going to let those sit in there for at least 5 minutes to cool down, and then we're going to peel them. So whilst those eggs are cooling down in the ice bath, we are going to finish our mix that's going to wrap around the eggs once we've peeled them. I've also put the oven on to 180 degrees fan, or if it's gas, probably 195, 200 degrees. So it's nice and toasty for when we take the eggs out of the fryer, and then we can pop it in there to finish. So finishing our mix, so I've just crumbled that haggis on top of the sausage meat, and then I finally chopped the rosemary, so in that goes. So that was about 2 sprigs of rosemary at the maximum. We don't want more than that. Okay, so then we're going to get messy. We're going to get in here and just mix this up nicely. Okay, and then once this is well mixed and well combined, we're going to weigh it out into balls so that it goes evenly around our eggs. So if you remember earlier, I said 80 grams a portion. So we're going to weigh out 80 gram balls and then we're good to go. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to wrap the eggs. So I've weighed out my 80 gram balls. So we just flatten that out nicely. It's quite a sort of wide circle. Going to go like that. See, it's like a patty now. Because I've like worked it quite well when I mixed it, it's gonna stay nicely together when it's cooking. It's not gonna crack. Okay, so make sure you give it a good mix when you do it. And take your egg, peel them carefully so they don't break, and then that just sits in the middle, and we sort of wrap it around like an amazing duvet of sausage meat and haggis and rosemary. Okay, and gently, all you want to do is make sure it's got a nice even amount of meat all the way around it so it cooks evenly. So just work it around, make sure it's properly covered, there's no gaps, there's no cracks. Be gentle, okay? You don't want to break that egg. And then what's lovely is if you can keep that egg shape to it. So move it around in your hands, cup it so that it keeps that shape. You see, we have that egg shape. All right, and then just sit that one down and then you can carry on with the rest. Right, eggs are wrapped, so the next thing to do is pane. So pane, breadcrumb, right, posh word. What we're going to do, roll up sleeves, okay? Don't want to get messy doing this. So I've got my eggs wrapped in a farce, just sat in a little bit of plain flour in a bowl. I've got my milk with the egg beaten through it, and I've got my breadcrumbs. Now, something important with the breadcrumbs, a cool little tip, is just before you go to do this, go through those breadcrumbs and crush them up a little bit, all right? Just a bit, just go through it a few times, really scrunch them up, and what that's going to give you is different textures of breadcrumb. So a very fine one, which will make sure it's super evenly coated all the way around the egg and sort of sealed, and like larger pieces, which will give you texture as well. So important, right? Give it a good sort of crunch up first. So all we do, take one of our balls, run it through the flour carefully. So we have floured scotch egg almost ready. Now we're going to go into the egg, give it a little roll around. I just do like one at a time, right? Because there's only 5 and it's going to make a lot less mess. That's it. We don't want too much egg on this. You want it sticky, okay? So there we go, well coated. Just check it all over. And then that is going to go into the breadcrumb. So first thing to do, put it in, give it a little roll around so that you don't get breadcrumbs all over your hands. And then just turn it around. There we go. And I can see that like nice fine dusting is on there. That's covered the whole egg. And then on the surface, we've just got those nicer, bigger pieces. There we go. There's one egg. So put that onto another plate. And then we just carry on that process till we've got all 5 done. Right now, so we're going to fry our eggs. So what we want is this oil at about 190 degrees centigrade. So I've got a temperature probe. I can check mine. So I use this, check my one. But you can probably just about see there's like a light shimmer on the top of that oil. And if you don't have a temperature probe, that's what you're looking for, okay? So it's not going to burn this oil, but it's hot enough that it's going to brown our eggs nice and quickly. So we're going to give them 1 minute each in that oil, and then we're going to drain onto kitchen towel, okay? So very carefully, watching your fingers, I'm going to drop that in. You see straight away, it's It's cooking away, bubbling. We're going to give that about sort of 10 seconds, and then we're just going to turn it so it cooks evenly. Okay, so that's 1 minute. Look at that beautiful golden brown. Just going to drain that off and then pop that straight onto the kitchen towel, and then we can repeat with the rest of these 5 eggs. Right, so those eggs have drained off onto the kitchen towel. Any excess oil has come off. We're going to pop those onto a baking tray lined with a bit of greaseproof paper, and then that is going to go into our preheated oven for 5 minutes. Okay, and they are out of the oven, so we're going to rest those now for 2 minutes so that the heat dissipates through the whole Scotch egg and warms that yolk up nicely, and then they'll be ready to cut in half, and hopefully we've got a beautiful Scotch egg. Only thing left to do is to cut through them, so nice serrated knife. I'm just going to glide straight through the middle of the egg. Go. And a nice jammy yolk. Perfectly cooked egg white, nice and moist fast around, and that's going to just go with a little piccalilli. I've taken this one from a jar. Anything like a pickle, a chutney, something like that that cuts through the richness. I'm going to put a little bit of sea salt and a bit of pepper, and that is a really delicious lunch. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to enjoy tucking into this now, and probably quite a few more, to be honest with you, because I'm hungry. There's lots of recipes like that are in my new cookbook, The Pie Room by Calum Franklin. It's available on Amazon for pre-order now. It'll be published in September with absolute Bloomsbury, and I'm very excited. So please have a look and enjoy your Scotch eggs.